Doing a reading using Messages from the Spirits of Nature Oracle by Dr. Stephen D. Farmer. Discover the magic of communicating with the spirits of the natural world. Now let's get into the message. Alright, you guys, I'm going to start this reading out by just saying it does not matter what the obstacles are or what kind of chaos shows itself while you're trying to do what you need to do. Just keep trying, keep doing it. Eventually, whoever's trying to send that chaos towards you, if it is someone, they're going to have to give up. They're going to have to tire themselves out. They're going to end up losing out on resources or whatever it is that they're doing or using in order to send those things your way, right? So just stay your course. Don't get distracted. Don't go off course. Don't change who you are for anybody, any situation, or any obstacle. It's just not worth it. Stay true to your heart and who you are, okay? So, I don't know why that was just such a pressing thing to get out, but I did have to. Cards fell out. It would be love. I'd say that's probably why I had to get it out, because, hello, it's a loving message just to give you that support and keep you going on during times that it just may be so rough right now. You may be exhausted, you may be tired for whatever reason. Just keep going. Love yourself enough to stay the course. And then we had purification, sage. Maybe you need to sage your environment. A disclaimer though, if you have someone who is seizure prone around you, it could be the sage. Who knew, right? Sage is known to trigger seizures. And rosemary, for that matter. Interesting. There are a lot of fragrances that can trigger different things in people. Of course, it's an allergy, maybe, just like any other allergy. Not saying that seizures are allergies, but if something's triggering you for a reaction of some sort, for me, that would be a sort of allergy, right? Your body doesn't like it for whatever reason. The brain wires don't like it for whatever reason. And so with that being said, be mindful when you are doing your saging, and also make sure that you look up the practices on how to do that, because you don't want to just go in half-nilly saging your house and then you're having negative thoughts while you're doing it. It's imperative that you say your blessings in a way that are positive always, because the universe doesn't know positive, negative, really. It just knows the words that you're saying, and that's what it ends up holding on to. Then we had sequoia tree, balance. As with any situation, balance is always good. Everything needs balance. Anytime that you're ever involved in anything, it should require balance. It should never be unbalanced. Everything in moderation, right? And then snake, shedding. Through this process of whatever you're trying to balance within yourself or within your environment or around you, it's going to cause for shedding of the skin, whether it be yours or somebody else's who is involved. As I had mentioned in the beginning, if someone is kind of throwing negativity your way in any kind of regard of which they're doing it, perhaps you being the person involved in this situation is allowing them to see themselves, and just maybe, a huge maybe, because people only change when they want to change, maybe that person will see how far they've gone and realize that they just need to change in themselves. They need to shed a skin. They need to change a life that they thought was the right life for them. Who knows what that is? Perhaps when you're going through your purification stages of finding that balance again in your life, because you have found that self-love, you'll be shedding skins. It's kind of like an onion, right? The snake has many lives every time it sheds a skin, in my mind. Kind of like when you get a sunburn. You did way too much time in the sun, and now you have a sunburn, and your skin has to shed in order to heal and repair itself, to show that healthy skin layer underneath, because now that layer that's being shed is dead. It's no longer. Nothing wrong with shedding skin and changing your outlook on something, changing your opinion on something, or changing how you handle something. You can change your mind at any point. It doesn't matter at what point you are changing your mind. Maybe there's a situation that you're in that is finding maybe someone, okay, let's just say you removed yourself from a situation because you knew that you deserved to have peace. And during this time that you removed yourself from that situation, you were able to find a place of solace, a place of refuge, a place to heal, and a place to purify your mind and your heart and your body from that experience. You were able to find your balance again, right? And you're shedding that old life, that old process, the old torment, the traumatic experience perhaps that you endured during that process that caused you to have to leave. Perhaps while you're going through all of this stuff, you see a whole different perspective on it. Maybe there's other people who are involved that are seeing you love yourself, and they're seeing the situation come to surface of what the truth actually is. And in their mind, they're going back and they're thinking about everything that had happened, and they're finding the balance in there. Maybe it's not just this one way. Maybe it's not the way this person was trying to portray it to be. And maybe they're changing their opinion about the whole situation altogether. I know that when emotions run high, the facts sometimes can get lost within the emotion, right? Facts are still facts. If we stick to the facts, problems are much easily solved. Perhaps when the emotions dissipated, a layer of the story came to surface, and now it's being seen. Ancestors. Gotta give cred where cred is due, right? For the love of our ancestors. A lot of times the ancestors that we have here on the living with us are able to see things way differently than we do, and they're able to actually be the person, sorry, I'm getting choked up, actually be the person that we needed them to be while they were here. Perhaps it's your ancestors who helped everyone see what happened in this situation. Perhaps your ancestors are here supporting you and cheering you on through your situation, where you can end that cycle, the perpetual cycle that has been plaguing your family lineage generation after generation after generation. And your ancestors are applauding you for sticking to what you felt was right, for making the situation seen for what it is, and keeping your balance through it all. Because sometimes people will just antagonize you just to prove what their thoughts are about you when they're negative. They'll cross your boundaries. They'll test you. But when you stay strong, or perhaps you were a different person back in the day where you would react in a way that was very negative, combative, and stressful for the whole situation because you fed into that. You fell into it. For example, like an abusive relationship, perhaps, and the abuser would continue on and on and on and abuse you, and when you fought back and stood up for yourself and said enough is enough, why do you do that? Or should I say, when you do stick up for yourself finally because you're realizing it is abuse, people come back to you and they realize or don't realize, either or, depending on where they're at in their journey, you're no longer that person. that they once knew. You've gone through some sort of metamorphosis, some kind of change, some kind of growth. You've shed that skin of the past. You're no longer that person. Your ancestors applaud you. Bottom of the deck, waves. And maybe your ancestors are waving at you right now. Hey, we see you. Initially, the word waves brought me to emotions and the tides of the ocean and how that's affected by the moon cycles. And as with any journey, there is a cycle there. They say with kids, like infants or, kids, I would just say people in general, there's a cycle I've noticed even. You have 6 great months with your kids. Not at the same time, of course. They could be on different cycles. 6 months that are great. Everything's just flowing. Everything's just great. Everyone's happy, positive, whatnot. Of course, you'll have some things in there that are, outliers. But then you have 6 months of trying times where there's adjustments being made or independence being set or, growth is happening. Sometimes growth can be a little bit difficult and hard to adjust to. I used to always tell my kids when they would go through a new phase, like, graduating to the next level or wanting more independence or being a little bit, trying out their mouthiness, pushing their boundaries. I used to have to remind my kids, hey, I know you're going through a new level of things right now, but I need to adjust also. I know parents, there's a lot of different kinds of parents out there, and a lot of them hold on a little bit longer than they probably should, and then there's some that kind of just free the reins as early as possible. I've always been the kind of parent that it's like, okay, if my kids go to a new phase of life, as I said, I need to adjust to it too. Always allowing them to grow at their own pace. And adjusting accordingly. Within their safety, of course. Anywho, we can go back to your ancestors just waving at you. Maybe they're trying to get your attention. Maybe you don't realize they're there. Maybe you're going through this whole process of trying to balance yourself and shed your old skin, and your ancestors are saying, hey, we're here for you. All you have to do is ask. Listening. All you got to do is ask and listen. Because when you ask, there's always an answer. There's always an answer. Have faith. Have faith that everything's going to come to light. Doesn't matter how big the boulder or how big the obstacle, the sun will always shine through. The sun moves, right? Just like in that picture. Eventually, when the sun keeps going down, it's going to go behind that boulder. You won't see it anymore. But the same is true when that sun rises again the next day. It's going to come from behind that boulder, and it's going to shine light on every single situation. Have faith. You are seen. You are heard. Your ancestors are there. And they see what you're doing. Be proud of yourself. No matter how big or small your steps are taking, at least you're taking steps. And that's important. Take care and make it a great day, okay? Thanks for being here. Bye.